Well, and I don't know if you saw um, the sort of conversation on Facebook that I had posted last week after our last session, kind of asking, okay, what is the thinking behind, you know, the square being so difficult to form in this particular rule set, as opposed to the same battle but a different rule set. So I posted the
That was
stats.
brilliant.
Yeah. Um, so Uwe had a legitimate reason. He said that, given the weather and this and that, and whatever else, he thought it was more challenging. Um, in which case, the way I would have handled it would have been, okay, well, if it's turn there and it's snowing, then you add this to the die roll, you subtract that from the die roll. Instead, he's just got it uniformly. It doesn't matter what the weather is, could be clear. You could be able to see 600 yards unobscured, and still you're having
Matches
the
the
same difficulty. So,
a blanket rule matches a blanket of snow.
yeah. Well, and he did not answer the rule wool. So then why does it take all of their movement to change into square when it only costs one movement point for them to change from line to column or from column to line?
I agree. I think the reason was he didn't want people to march their infantry up next door to somebody and then form a square.
Well, you
You know,
can't march right up next to somebody and form a square. You can't because you can't change formation adjacent to an enemy. So
metaphor. No, being close. I mean, 2 hexes, 3 hexes. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't
why?
have the
I don't
full
know
story, but
because they did that back then.
they did.
Yeah.
They did.
So
And I
why
found I
why
found
is
a
it?
lot of
Yeah.
instances of moving squares too.
Yeah.
There were notable, well, at Waterloo, at Mont Saint Jean, the British moved their squares after they were formed to channelize the French cavalry.
Yep. Yep.
Right? And that was an obvious one. But at, I think it was Omdurman, they moved a whole square miles,
Yeah.
under cavalry attack.
Yeah. No, and it's the same thing if you look at the different stuff that's happening in the uh, with Napoleon in Egypt. He's the half the time the whole French army is maneuvering in square.
Yeah.
Across wide ranges because you've got the Malamutes there that are able to pounce on you whenever you're in any other formation. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's well. Hopefully he'll get. It sounds like he's making this um, business with square or not square or whatever something that is pertinent to each battle. Because if he has this same sort of difficulty forming square at Quatre Bras, I mean, people will be jumping up and down and having fits because
I will
one little cavalry charge destroys, your entire, unit kind of thing. One fella had brought up, well, you can try to form a square multiple times. I'm like, well, that's true, but you're losing an increment every time you fail. So yes, I could roll at a range of 3, and if I fail, then I could roll at a range of 2, and if I fail, I could roll at a range of 1. Well, the odds are still against me, and I've lost 3 increments before you've even arrived. Right.
increasingly against you. It's like sharpening a pencil for 5 minutes. You
Yeah.
might get there in the end, but it's not the
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
if you'll pardon my pun.
Yeah.
Um, I've spoken with Uwe or written back and forth with Uwe on a couple of subjects, and it seems to me that he thinks about things, and then he's not afraid of changing an idea or an opinion. He just does it at the appropriate time when it goes into a new set of rules or something. So I
Right.
I anticipate that we're going to see interesting changes in upcoming rule sets.
Yeah. Well, I would I would be interested to see how that manifests itself, but in the
Well, I
meantime,
think you will actually have something to do with that because I think that you are one of the people, and not few people, but you're one of the people that puts everything down in real good logic and sets it out. And I think that's an easy thing for any developer to look at. I mean, I'm a software developer, so it's an easy
Right.
thing for me to look at and start to make decisions based on facts as opposed to opinions. I often ask for things in the module that are opinions, like let's change the shortcut keys for rotating. And it's like, well, why is your key better than mine? I'm on a French keyboard. Those aren't good. I mean, that's opinion right there. But
Right.
when you can say, look, here's what it is in one rule set, and here's what it is in the other rule set, that's fact.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to work from. And I personally appreciate it because I want this system to grow. Speaking of which, I know that the Quatre Bras is moving forward, and I'm excited about that. And
Yeah, I
it
saw
should all be a lot of fun.
that they've announced that well, at least they have, I think, the Game Found page up so you can
Yep.
preview it, but it's not ready for orders yet.
No, no, no. I think they're a ways out. I think that they're intending to do play testing on Vassal. So hopefully we'll be able to see some screenshots and things of that if it comes to pass.
Well, see if you can't volunteer to do some play testing for that, and you and I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and and by doing it here with a live stream, that's also going to help generate interest in the game potentially. So
That's absolutely true. I think that if we're both play testing, we should just double check with Uwe that that's okay to live stream it. But I think that
yeah,
would
yeah,
just
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I
I
mean that would be fine, but yeah, I mean it makes sense to to play it, and yeah, cool. All
Yeah, good.
right.
Okay,
Well,
so
we are at, I don't know, which turn are we at? The
we're at the 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock
Oh,
turn.
maybe we're at the 12 o'clock. I don't know. Hold on.
No, it looks like we're at the 12 o'clock turn, it
We're at
says.
the 12 o'clock turn. You're right.
Yep. So
And the
we
one
have
o'clock
two
turn is
turns,
the last turn.
the last
Yeah.
turn. So we have two turns left. So the question is do the French have any hope in hell of actually reaching their potential targets?
I don't think so.
And I don't think so either.
Well,
Um,
I think quite clearly the way that cavalry works is that I'm just going to continue to withdraw a hex at a time and evade, and you're going to keep moving. But every time you move, you're going to end your movement when you enter my hex.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. I will basically run out of steam before I can reach you. Um,
so
yeah. So and this is kind of where I think things. Well, and we talked about this.
yep,
Um, that
at length, and we agree.
yeah, yeah. So I can capture Sir Fallen without a problem. My hope was to try to see if I could get to Mellenkheim. Um,
Yeah,
and but I mean, there's nothing stopping you from, instead of retreating when I come up and attempt to assault you, you just stay and say,
yeah.
"Sure, let's do a combat." And the worst that can happen is, oh well, you lose and you have to retreat. Okay, big deal. You've got so much
Okay.
stuff. You just have a, okay, here's another guy behind that, and another guy behind that kind of a thing. So,
I have 9 regular regiments of cavalry and four Cossacks, and that's just a lot of territory
yep.
to, you know, allow yourself to be retreated across. So yeah, and I don't think there's any way to get into the Salzgotten because we have the artillery in front, and I think that
Yeah,
there's
South
enough
Garden, I
points
don't
there.
think I'd be able to. I don't think, and part of my issue is the only having 5 cubes instead of 7 cubes really reduces the fighting ability of the French.
Okay, so I like to toss something out here and say I think that this scenario has maybe been the best one I've played so far in terms of learning because this has taught me how to use cavalry in this game system much better than anything else that I've done. So I'm kind of satisfied with what I'm taking away from it.
Right.
but I'd be happy to try something different.
Yeah, well, and the one thing is that, yes, you've learned to use the cavalry, but you haven't learned to really be as thoroughly destructive as you can be,
That's
um,
true.
because there's nothing really stopping you from making multiple attacks with the cavalry every every opportunity you have. And
I haven't done that.
if I'm not in square, it's good night, Charlie.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. But most of the time you're going to make it into square. At this point now, I've got enough cavalry that's close enough that you don't get auto squares. So
yes.
now there's actually a little bit more possibility of that.
Uh, well, yeah, yeah. But even if I were at this point, because as you said, I've got to be somewhere, right? I have to. Um, I've got to just march forward, and there's just no way to march forward and then form square unless I get two cubes in a row. But that doesn't do me any good because I have a destination I have to get to.
Yeah, it's competing priority.
Yeah. Now, if I'd had 7 cubes, like in the original scenario, I could get Goudin's, I could have used, what's his name over here? Saint-Hilaire at for any purpose, right?
Right.
And, because I would basically have an extra 2, commands. So I could use, say 3 for Friant, 3 for Mirande, and then 2 for Saint-Hilaire. And then once Godin comes on, I would then have, I could use 3 for him to get him up into a position, and then I'd have, 3 for Morand and 2 for Friant, for example.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
while you don't have as many, you've only got 3 formations, so
Right.
7 activations for you is 1 activation too many, right? You've
Yeah,
you
that's more than I need. But you've got one, two, three. You've got four commands,
Yeah, yeah.
four divisions, and I've got three, and this yeah, it's just not the right number of points.
Yeah, so I'm
You
not
know,
sure why what 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 they did. Did they actually play test this scenario with the new changed activation cube thing, or did they just?
well, I can guarantee you it was played a lot because the senior editors, the marks, played these all the way through a number of times. The question is whether they thought there was a problem and changed something or asked for a change from Uwe or whether Uwe himself decided to change it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and that's the question because changing the number of activation cubes is huge because that's basically either turning up the volume or turning down the volume in this particular game, you know. Uh,
Yeah,
so they when they went from having 7 cubes to 2 cubes or 2 cubes less, I mean that that makes so I'm sure that there was play testing with the original scenario with 7 cubes,
right.
but with this new one with 5 cubes, I I I don't know. We've been playing it with the 5 cubes, and as we're seeing here, there does not seem to be a way for the French to do what they need to do. I mean,
And
unless
if
the
you're
unless the Russian player sticks around and fights for Sir Fallen, which is that there's nothing compelling them to do that. Now, with the newer rules, there's not anything about army fatigues or anything like that for this scenario. It's
no,
only in that one set that Robert or somebody has put together where he's got army fatigue points factored in, correct?
that is correct. Those are really good though. But yes,
Yeah,
they're just a variant.
right. But did he also, with his scenarios, did he also have? the same uh, number of cubes or a different number of cubes?
I can't tell you because I haven't compared them side by side,
Oh,
but
okay.
right, maybe in a future game we play one of his scenarios with his choices, just for fun. I
Yeah.
think that when people have talked to the design team about the different scenarios, the answers pretty much consistently come back that this is a training scenario. This is a training scenario. The real meat and potatoes is the grand battle, and that's where you have the AFPs, and that's where you have the real decision making parts. And then these first four things or five scenarios are really just learning how to use the chopsticks. It's not the full meal. And
Right,
yeah.
no,
So anyway,
but I like the idea of having it because,
sure.
I don't have the time to sit down and play someone the entire battle, right?
No, neither do I.
So,
I've been
if you
playing one
wanna
guy and it's been
yeah,
3 weeks.
yeah, and so it's a case where um if you want to
Experience
kinda
it.
get the experience of it, where you've got the balance, the fatigue cubes and the activation cubes and all that stuff, and the orders, but you don't have, you know, who knows, an infinite amount of time to play the entire grand battle.
Yeah.
Being able to do it with a scenario, I think, is good. So we should probably try that sometime.
I
Um,
think that would be a great idea. And I think that it would be fun to see if he's going to be um, clued into Quatre Bras early, maybe he can have those variants ready when they ship so that we can play one of those scenarios with all
right.
the fatigue points and everything.
Yeah.
Because I think that you're right. I don't have time to play the grand battle over and well, I do, but I'm it's not fun to come back to something. It's not conducive to doing a video, and it's not really conducive to having a good time. I personally feel that this almost ought to be like speed chess. The idea is that if you and I just shut our festering gobs and played, we could get this scenario done in a couple of hours. And I really believe that.
Mhm.
But you can't do that with the grand battle. You just can't. There's just too many moving parts.
Well, I mean, when we were playing it there at Consim, I think the first turn we had like 17 or 18 cubes in the bag.
Hmm.
It's just, there's a ton of stuff that's you've got to move and activate and everything else just to get through one turn. So, it's imagine this scenario, but we've got, twice as many cubes kind of a thing. Or actually
Oh
three
yeah.
times as, yeah, at least twice as many cubes, right?
Well,
So,
I'm playing the grand battle right now,
mhm,
and I've got this turn. The French ended up with 16 activation cubes, and the Russians ended up with 9. And it's actually a beautiful situation because I'm setting up an attack, and I can kind of chew through his activations as he kind of responds to my intermediate moves. And now I know he's got no cubes to respond. It's a little bit gamey, but it's really how this system is designed to work. To bide your time, figure out when the right time is, and then, throw everything at one spot or two spots or whatever it's going to be. So I'm having an immense amount of fun, but I'd
yeah.
like to bring that back to an individual scenario.
Well, and I was just play testing the Clash of Arms La Bataille de Pruche Eylau yesterday, and I had conducted a cavalry charge out on the, I guess it would be the Russian left with some of the Cossacks in a
Mhm.
previous turn. And so they're sitting there exhausted, and my opponent, Jim Soto, proceeds to march up some French infantry and assault them because they can't retreat because they're exhausted. And
Right.
therefore, even though they normally have a movement that's, multiple factors better than the French infantry, normally they'd be able to because they're exhausted. They are basically stuck. And so they were fighting at a fraction of their usual ability and routed as a result. Um,
That's yeah.
but here, the same equivalent, your cavalry is tired. That's the equivalent of them being exhausted in La Bataille. Yeah, they can keep fighting, and the infantry, and they can keep retreating away from the infantry. So there's no. So if you're looking at like cost benefit, I'm like, okay, I I can charge with my cavalry, and then they can get away scot free, and I can keep
So they
doing
can
that
so they
over and
can
over
they
again.
continue to move and evade and move and evade and move and evade, even though they've made their charge.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So normally you'd say, okay, I'm going to charge, and then these guys are going to be vulnerable for the rest of the turn. So I need to get them out of harm's way. But in this particular, the way they have things, particularly with the die roll modifiers, even if they're being attacked by other cavalry, being tired on the defense has no penalty.
Yeah, I think
And I
that
think
that's something
that's a
that
problem, because you're like, okay, well, these guys charged and they're tired. Great. Okay, fine. Yeah, they can always dance away from the infantry. Sure, whatever. Um, but there's no downside for them being tired and being attacked by fresh cavalry. That I think is a not quite right for a number of
I
reasons. Not only game
I
wise, but also historically speaking.
I agree, and I think we mentioned this earlier. I don't remember a whole lot of reports of cavalry charging and then charging and then charging. More or less, there was a cavalry charge, and that was kind of it. I mean, they didn't disappear from the battlefield, but they didn't really come back. I mean, the Scots Greys didn't kind of reform and charge again at Waterloo. It just the cavalry regiments had their chance, then they kind of didn't, for the most part. Not always, not exclusively. And I mean, there were certainly situations where there were cavalry battles that went on and on and on. But in general, being tired with a bunch of horses it's a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think I think they need to do something where, because there's got to be some downside to your cavalry being tired. The only downside currently is that on the attack, there is a modifier in favor of your opponent. But if you're catching them not in square, uh, the penalty against them exceeds the penalty that you have for being tired.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and so that's why it's just like, if I were playing in the Russian shoes, I'd just be charging your infantry nonstop. Because what's the worst that happens to me? I lose one strength point, but the upside is you lose 2 or 4 strength points. I mean, the trade-off just statistically is, there it's just like, okay, do it, and you've got, you know, lancers and this and that. I mean, with a lot of it, it's automatic that you're just going to win because you're going to have a -5 or a -6 or a -8 or whatever, some ungodly amount on the die roll, and it's just impossible for, if I'm not in square, it's impossible for me to stand against you. And so then even if you were exhausted or tired, all right, now you only have a you know, -6 on the die roll instead of your -8, whatever kind of a thing.
I'm
So
too conscious of cardboard casualties. You know, the I, I've
no, no,
said
no,
this
no, no.
before as well.
I
And
understand. I understand your
yeah,
how you're approaching this, but what I'm saying is that,
you do it
if
differently.
the way that you're playing the game, the rules allow you to do X, Y, and Z. And
Yes,
so
yes.
you would, there's nothing, you know, if it's a case where they're trying to get you to sort of follow the narrative, then it would be a case that, okay, you're tired, now you can't attack anybody, right?
Yep.
And that's the case that we have in La Bataille, right? Your cavalry is exhausted, it can't initiate any new charges. And if it's being attacked by other cavalry or infantry, it can't even run away, right? So it is. it is simulating that case where the horses are blown. And then it takes an hour basically, or not an hour, but in some cases it might take, a few turns for your cavalry to get fresh again to make another charge. So that's usually within, 40 minutes to 60 minutes, your horses have finally recovered, and then possibly you're in a position where that formation could charge again. So it has this cycle.
Yeah.
Um,
It, it is nice that La Bataille has the 20-minute turns sometimes because it really is a little more granular. You look at Eylau here, and everything's an hour. So an infantry unit retreats, and then it can kind of come back depending upon that. But you're talking about an hour span, and I think cavalry would recuperate between 40 and 60.
yes, yeah.
Not always at 60, but
Well, and
anyway.
these turns are technically an hour, right? So once
Yeah,
you're tired until the next turn, which is an hour away, right?
yeah, yeah,
So they already have that kind of built in. But what they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have is any breaks that they're really putting on you for using that tired cavalry over and over and over again. And so as a game designer, if you're trying to model some sort of historical situation, you would make, okay, yeah, the guys are tired, but now they can't, now they're really nerfed in their abilities, or now they're really at a disadvantage of some sort. There's got to be some sort of trade-off. Right now, there's there's nothing to hold a player back from charging multiple times, and
Yeah.
that would be something that, normally you'd have something in the rules that would prevent that from happening. So you'd say, okay, tired cavalry can't do this. Um, because otherwise they then are uh, basically this unstoppable force on the battlefield. Joe Boyle is chiming in here. He says afternoon or pre-dawn, as we say in Wales,
Let's
or
go with
pri.
pre-dawn. It's
No,
pretty darn
he's
cold
not.
here
No, no,
too.
no. It's not pre-dawn. I missed it. It's prine hon, prine honda. Pry Honda, as we say in Wales. I don't speak Welsh, so that's my first Welsh word I've uttered there. For
Yeah.
Katraba, Uwe, in response to a question I raised on GameFound page, said that the fatigue system will be present in all the scenarios. So that's good to hear. Um, that 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 seems to indicate that he wants people to kind of enjoy that aspect of it. So good, thanks, Joe. And I'm sure I mispronounced the Welsh word horribly. So um, cool. Well, let's go ahead and I'm just gonna let's mess around with this some more.
Okay, let's
Do you
do it.
want to keep playing the Russians or do you want to play the French? And I'll play the
Well,
Russians
let's switch it
here.
around.
Yeah.
Let's switch it around.
Okay.
Okay, so shall we put the cubes back on the board and just work with what we've got right now?
Yeah, let's put the cubes back in. The French will have a cube and a cube out. They'll have the initiative, and
Okay.
then the Russians will wait for something to get picked, so that way I can have an opportunity to do stuff with the cavalry,
Cavalry.
and I can either demonstrate yes, my idea is correct, or no, maybe there is something to this. Um,
Tell me what pain really means.
yeah, well, or something approaching that.
Hey, so we should also do the weather roll, though. You want to do the weather roll?
Oh, we haven't been doing the weather rule.
Oh,
I
right,
thought
we
we were
haven't. Sorry.
doing the scenario where it was snowing the
Too,
first turn and
too,
then it's clear everything after that, right?
too many games at one time. Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay.
All right.
Well, you have the
So,
initiative, so
oh, I need to switch sides here officially in the game to get the cards.
oh, okay. Let me switch. Where do I go to do that?
It's
Preferences
the
or
fourth icon there. It's the little two computers or the two boards, blue and
oh,
green,
switch
swapping
sides.
around.
Okay. So your current side is solo. I will stay as solo. That way I can look at both boards and show it to people.
I spent
So,
a lot of time doing icons, and so if you see an icon that doesn't make sense to you, please let me know because some of these are kind of weird concepts to do.
well, so are you using a different version of it? I've just got I think I'm using the version 1.1.0, which is the
Yeah,
same one we've been using for a while. So,
it is.
oh,
It is.
okay.
But the fourth icon should be like two computers with an arrow going from one to the other and from the second back to the first.
Yes, yes. And I
Yeah,
see it. And then when I hover over it, it says switch sides, become an observer, or allow another player uh, to take your side in this game.
right. So,
So,
like I say, if you see an icon that doesn't make sense, or you could think of a better metaphor, let me know. By the way,
okay.
that should be metaphor. I'm not an idiot, but I do like that quote from Zell Miller. He's just great.
There you
Anyway,
go. All
okay,
right.
so let me see where I'm gonna put it. One cube. One
One
cube, one
cube to
cube.
rule them all.
Yeah. Let's see. First division.
So first division is Morand, second division is Friant, and
Right.
third
And third
division is
division is,
Gudin.
but Goodin's kind of not there yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I had thought to do is to try to get Friant moving a little bit, see if I could try to open things up around the east side of the map, um, and then spend at least 3 cubes to get Gudin to get up into the space where Friant is now. That's kind of what I was thinking. So that way, then maybe in the last turn, I could have Gudin make a dive for Melanchime. Um, so I'd basically spend, you know, I'd have, you know, one that I could use for Friant, one I could use for Morand, and then the other 3 would go towards Gudin to try to get him somewhere. Um, and Davout has not moved yet, so I suppose you can move Davout before.
Oh, right. Davu has to go first.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Where does he need to be? It's
Well, and
command
the question
range.
is, where does he go, and then he's stuck there. So I like the
Yes.
idea of him being able to move with the units as they go along, but if you're
Core
on the
command is who has
defense,
to move first.
that's great. But once the unit that he's stacked with moves away, he's still standing there.
And the issue is that if you are within the command range of the core commander, which is 8, then you can have your division activated. If you do not, then you have to roll the activation. So for this division down here, if I move Davout now, then he's going to be closer to the fight, but he won't be able to activate this guy. But how important is that guy going to be? If I
Well,
miss
right now,
my
yeah, right now I
roll,
think Godin
I'm
is
dead.
on what? He's on move orders. Yeah. So if you wanted to put Gudin on attack orders, you'd need to move Davu to stack with Gudin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then you could
And
roll
that
to try to get him to change based on Davu. And if that fails, then Gudin could roll to change his orders.
I think it's I mean, if I want to change the orders, I think I'm gonna have to roll the initiative. So I think I'm gonna not worry about the VU right here. Let's think about all right. Okay. The range on Liters is 12. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I'm going to move him forward. I'm not going to worry about anything but rolling initiatives with these guys then. All right.
Okay.
So
So then are you going to
now
change Gudin's orders?
that's a good question. I should do that, and I'll not do it. So let me go here and let me roll for that.
Yep.
So where is my army
You're hoping
card? There
for
it
a 9
is.
or less.
And I roll a
A
7.
7. Okay.
I got it. All right. So he becomes a. Um, I'm going to go for attack because it doesn't really matter in this game because we're not doing fatigue. So
Yep.
everybody can be attack all the time. And all the other ones are on attack.
Yep.
So I guess I gave up a little information there, but that's the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to put my cube on. Let's draw my cube out. I'm going to put him on second division, third corps. First activation.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go ahead and highlight that formation. And that helps out. I like that feature.
Oh, cool. Is that something that's been there for a while?
Yeah, yeah, it's something that got put in the first version.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's highlight formation.
Okay.
So this guy here now has to roll his initiative. No,
Why?
he doesn't. He isn't changing it. He isn't changing it.
Yeah.
So everything's good.
Yeah.
All good here. Okay. So we're going to start off 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna leave it there. 7, and we'll rotate him. Okay. How far can I get my artillery up? Okay, so I'm gonna flip my line here because I want him in column. And
Where are you at?
I'm right here,
Ah, okay.
the rearmost unit. And my artillery flipped by accident, so they should both be moving. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to drop them to the bottom of the stack.
Yep. How did you do that?
How did I do that? I'm slick. I have mad skills. Um, I, the items that are highlighted, the up arrow brings them to the top,
Ah,
and
okay.
the down arrow brings them to the bottom.
Okay. I was curious on this module because on the other ones that I play with, the side to side arrow moves them up and down through the stack. But because the side to side arrow here is being used for rotating it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's why I've been like
Yeah,
picking up units and moving them and dropping them and shuffling them around the old fashioned way. So the up and
vassal
down arrow
default
do it.
is
Cool.
Vol- vassal default is up and down arrows go to top and bottom of the stack. Left
Okay.
and right cycle one through the stack.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you're playing Europa, it makes a big difference.
Oh, I'm sure, yes. With Europa,
The great
your
tower of
giant
stuff.
tower of units.
Yeah. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rotate. Can't leave it at that. Okay. Those guys moved, and now it's time to move this guy. So where's right there? Gonna move up to the square. And now everything should be in command.
Cool.
I really hope I get another blue cube.
Yes, that could be convenient.
It would be
Let's
life
see.
saving.
Life saving. Okay, well, let's go. Let me grab one and see what we get. Oh, it's another blue cube.
Woohoo! Okay. I'm just spinning this guy around. I'm sorry, I'm wasting time.
Is
There
he
we go.
doing a victory dance?
Yeah, it's my end zone dance.
Okay.
All right.
So
So
everybody is one less. Well, it depends on who you decide you're going to activate, I guess. But
indeed, it does.
yeah.
So artillery's two less. Is artillery two less or one less? I gotta look at it.
Infantry and artillery are one less. Cavalry is
Fine.
two less.
Fine. Good. Okay, good to know. Okay, so I'm putting the second activation on the same unit.
Yep, kind of figured that.
Okay, so I'm going to wear this guy. Oh, well, he doesn't square. This one squares. That's why you don't find it. Okay. This guy is going to move.
Are you going to unlimber your guns?
Indeed. Thank you. Good
Yeah.
call.
And you like the big square.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, even after I built the other ones, I like this one better. So I'm going to add a square layer here. Good. Square there. Whoops.
Oh, it's a baby square. I like the baby square.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, yeah, I get that. That guy didn't square. He moved. He couldn't have done that. I think I botched it. I think that guy shouldn't have moved.
Which guy?
This one I'm on right now, because he was marked with a square marker. So if he was that way, he should only been able to move one. So I think I made a mistake.
He did. He was here. Whoops. He was here and then he moved there
Oh,
last
yeah,
turn.
you're right.
Yeah, and he
You're right.
had
You're
so
right.
he was
You're right.
already in square.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I didn't screw it up so badly then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a happy day.
So then you could move him one
Another one.
hex. Yeah.
I want to do. You're there. Okay, and then these guys are going to attempt to charge.
Okay.
And this guy is going to square.
Now suddenly I have to read the rules on Cossacks. You're forcing me to read rules. It's too early in the morning. Let's see, Cossacks.
Oh, I botched that. Oh, well.
How did you botch it?
I should have moved one unit and made you make your Cossack decision, and then moved another unit to make another Cossack make a decision. But because I moved both, it's only going to affect the one. So I left a little bit on the table.
Okay, so you can't charge enemy infantry or unlimbered artillery through their initial front hexes. That is before they hit their free 60-degree turn. They want to charge the enemy. They must first pass a check, roll 2 dice. There is no die roll modifier. The result is greater than 8. The players launch the assault. If the Cossack unit is adjacent to an enemy unit and failed its check, it can evade. Cossacks may always evade by retreating 1 hex. If an enemy unit moves into an adjacent hex, the moving unit does not need to stop its movement and may continue to move. If the
Oh, good.
moving unit enters again a hex that is adjacent of the same or another Cossack unit, the later can evade again and the moving unit continues its movement. An evading Cossack unit can't change its facing. A Cossack unit may not evade into a hex adjacent to an enemy unit or into an obstructed hex. So, um, right. So I could potentially. So you guys moved forward, and that cost you 2 movement points to go there. One because it's adjacent to me,
Correct.
right? And so then I could retreat back, and then that would prompt another potential. You could advance, and it would cost you another 2 movement points. And then I could evade again, and it costs you another 2 movement points. Is
Right.
that if I understand that correctly?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and we can, yeah, we'll step back and you can step forward if you want to.
All right. They're each. This is why I should have done them one at a time. I'm going to do one, then I'm going to do the other.
Sure.
I'm going to go again. So that's his second move.
Good.
But
Exciting.
he's paying an extra point. So that's his third.
Yeah.
His fourth, actually.
So he's spent 4 movement points so
Two,
far.
four. This is
Great.
four. Yeah.
Good. I'm excited. Now
So
what are
you're
you
going
going
to
to do?
stand?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Nice. Okay. So then this guy's going to continue his move.
Okay.
And so then he's gone four now.
Yep.
And then you've
This
got
guy
this
will
guy.
pull back.
Okay. And then I'm going to move there.
Okay. And then I will see if I can reaction charge you. Oh, actually, what I
See.
should have done is when you're here, move back to where he was here. This guy will try to reaction charge you,
Okay.
right?
So he's got to roll an 8 or higher to as a Cossack to charge in a frontal
Yep.
X.
Here we go. Oh, 4. Didn't do it.
Okay. Then there we go. So you want to check with
All
him
right.
again?
Yep. So then this guy will try to charge you.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh,
And then we'll have this guy try to charge you.
okay.
Yep. He did it.
You guess.
Okay. All right. So now we go to our right to combat. So I think I don't know that there's anything going on the top part of the table. I don't think there's anything going on in the bottom part of the table, is there?
You're a 1-to-1.
Yeah, we're 1 to 1.
So it's 0. There's nothing else going on.
Yep. All right. So we're just,
Oh, wait, there is. There is. It's a counter charge, so it's -2 because it's a short distance.
is it a -2 or a +2?
It's a +2. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
no,
a big
finding it.
difference. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
see
yeah,
what
yeah.
we get. A 6 plus 2 is an 8. So that is a push. We each take a loss. And then I'm going to be marked as tired.
I don't think I'm marked as tired
Nope.
because that was the reaction.
Yep.
So now both of these guys are going to attack here.
Okay. All right.
So
So you
that's
are 2 to 1. So
exactly.
there's
So
going
it's
to be a -2.
-2
I'm
+1 for
Russian.
Russian.
Yep.
So it's a -1.
Yep.
Charged for more than one hex, -1. So it's a -2.
Yep.
8 minus 2 is 6.
6. So I will lose another increment. And I retreat back half of my movement. So that's going to be, what, 4 or 5 hexes? Do we round up?
We round up, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puts me up here. And now your guys are tired.
I love the movement trail feature, but you got to remember to clear movement between your activations. Otherwise, they have long trails.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, and then it's my commander's turn, so I'm going to move here.
Oh, wouldn't you have done that before the combat?
I should have done that as my last bit of the movement
Yeah.
phase. So yeah, I'll leave it there anyway because that's the right place to be. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna get one out of the other. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's where I'm at. So go ahead and pull.
Okay, we're back to the bag. It's your turn to pull since I pulled last time.
All right. You pulled very well. Thank you.
I'm sure. Oh,
Green.
it's one
There you
for
go.
the wacky Russians. Okay, for the Ruski ducks. So let's see. We've got the reserve cavalry. I think we are
I grew up in
going
the Cold War,
to
and we used a lot of adjectives for Russians, but wacky was never one of them.
really the wacky
Really?
Ruski ducks. You didn't use that. Oh,
No.
all right. So let's go ahead and. So we're going to activate this chap, and his command range
It's everything.
is pretty much everybody. Hooray! Everybody is where they need to be to do something exciting.
Oh yeah.
Um, okay. So what do we want to try here? Um, so we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. So we'll start off. We'll move this chap. Let me take. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 gets him over here. And we will rotate him slightly. There we go. All right. And then we will go this chap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Park him right there. And this guy, 1, 2, 3. We're going to bring him here, and we are going to rotate him like that. And then the other Cossack is going to go right here. And let's see. got our heavies. We've got all kinds of stuff here. Oh, yeah. The heavies get a bonus against light, don't they?
Against any other cavalry type.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so are these guys considered heavies?
Yes,
The cuirassiers?
cuirassiers are the only heavy cavalry in the system at this time.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Dragoons technically are kind of medium cavalry, so
That's exactly how I class them. I think the only heavy cavalry would be cuirassiers, carbiniers, and garde du corps.
okay. So this guy's going to then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gets him right there. And we've got our other exciting units to move. Um, okay, so I'm going to turn off this for a second. So I'm going to move these lancers. Where would be good?
I just turned off my formation highlighting
Oh, okay,
to make
thank
it a
you.
little easier.
Um, the rest are dragoons everywhere else. Okay. So I'm going to move the lancers. Nah, we're okay where we're at. We're going to take a more defensive position here. All right, so these guys will go there. And these guys are going to drop back 1, 2, 3 back here. No, we'll have them there. These guys will go here. These guys will go 1, 2. 3, 4. All right, and then this guy's gonna go here. Okay. And we've got our checkerboard. We're trying to have our checkerboard here. Okay, cool. So I do have one assault on this chap here. So I've got 11 to 4. I guess that would round up to 3 to 1.
3 to 1.
Okay, so there's a -3
You're doing me
for the
damage.
odds. Um, you're being attacked from more than one hex. So that's another -1. You're getting attacked through, is that a rear hex or a flank hex?
That's a rear hex.
Okay, so then it's another -2.
This
So
is a
we're up
rear
to,
hex.
a -6.
Ouch.
Well, can you turn 60 degrees?
Oh, of course I
Or is
can.
that
You're
only
right.
infantry?
No, it's everyone as far as I know.
Okay,
But that brings me to something I actually wanted to bring up today. If
right.
you're not using Notebook LM, you need to be.
Yeah, I just don't have
Um,
it running while I'm doing the live stream. But yes, I have used it before.
I happen to have it here, so let me type that in, and we're gonna go. Um,
Yeah, so defending units. can react with 160-degree facing change per enemy activation when assaulted charged. So what I
Yes,
could
you're right.
do is I could try to get this guy to charge as well, right? And if I
Yeah,
do,
you could.
then if you turned 60 degrees, well, even it doesn't
No.
matter which way.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Because it would still be a rear hex.
No, actually, yeah, yeah. So it does. You can't actually turn 60 degrees. Is just going to get you one vertex, and that would
Yep.
mean then this hex would be facing this guy. If you turn the other way, then this hex is facing this
Yeah,
guy.
you're right.
Yeah. So
Just
there's
just
just no way
just
to wiggle out of it. So you've got a
just go for
minus
it, you nasty
four, minus
Russian.
six. You got a minus six on the die roll,
It's automatic,
and
basically.
then
It is
I'm
automatic.
heavy cavalry. So it's a minus eight. So it's automatic that they are going to get popped.
They lose one,
Yep.
then they have to retreat.
Yep.
So they have to get farther away. In
Yep.
this case, they can't because they're surrounded. So they're going to go one. They're still in a non-zone of control, and then it's going to go down another one. And if I get out, it's going to go down again,
And they're going to lose
and
another
then
one.
so that's one, two, three, and that's one, two, three. That's it here.
Yep.
There we go. Well, you handled that one handily.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and roll for this guy to see if he stands or if he bugs out?
Indeed. So I got to check the stand table. I don't have that one memorized.
So that one, I think you're trying to roll less than a six or something, right?
When a modified roll less than six, no, less than six, then I fail, but I've
Yes.
passed. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
So
rolled an
that's
eight. So even with the minus one for friendly units, you're
yeah,
still there.
7.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So then I would need to advance into that, and I will advance with this guy, I guess. And, or do I want to do that?
I'm going to mute my mic just a quick second. I got to talk to my son for a brief second.
Yep, no worries.
I had to let him know that there was a snow day today.
Oh, you're getting snow up there?
It's actually today, it's going to be a combination of snow and freezing rain. It's right around 32.
Right,
So the school district called it off because everybody could get to school, but it's supposed to freezing rain all day and they don't know if they're going to be able to get home.
right.
So
All right, exciting. So when I advance into the hex, do I just maintain my current facing or do I change facings?
I think you retain your current facing.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. I know in some rule sets you can change facing. Okay, cool, cool.
So that's it, huh? Okay.
That is it. So I'm going to take the moved marker off and then we go back to the bag.
And I will pull one.
Yep, pick a winner.
Green.
Oh, it's
Oh
the
my gosh.
Russians. It is the Russians. Who are we going to activate this time? Um, okay, we will take the command range off of Plowin. We've got Bagavoo over here. And for whatever reason, everybody's out of range of Bagavoo. What were you thinking? What kind of commander are you?
What I was thinking is everything that was outside of command needed to move that direction anyway. And I wanted to make sure that Melankheim was in command. So if you turn on the command range, you'll see that these guys here are in command.
Right.
right? I
Oh,
don't
and I
care about
needed to move
these.
these Cossacks up to get into within range of plowing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I forgot to move them last time because they were off the map in my I couldn't see them.
Yep. Well,
Okay. All right.
I just wanted to state that I wasn't being stupid putting Bagavoo where he is, just because I wanted to move that
No, I
direction
know.
anyway.
I know you were trying to
But
get those guys into the town.
but you're right,
So,
because a quarter of his forces are out of command.
yeah. Yeah. So, uh if I activate Bagavoo, um 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess we'll activate Bagavoo. And all right, so let's put his little command range on. And so the rule is everyone's got to end within one within his range is what they're trying to achieve, correct?
They have to try to. They
Yeah,
can move and fail that, but they have to be moving towards that.
right,
If you had something that was 20 hexes away for some, I don't know what reason, he could move until he gets into range.
right. But he
Yeah.
can't move into adjacent to an enemy when he starts
Nope.
off out of range, right? So
Right.
the cavalry I have out here cannot charge this turn because they are too far away.
But interestingly, it can reaction charge. So if something gets close to it, it could. So
Yes.
there is a reason to leave things out of command in positions that you want to hold.
Right. No, I totally get that. I totally understand that. So, yeah, and you've got this one unit that I guess was trying to make its way around the other side of the town.
Yeah, he was on as well.
Yep. So,
You're doing more or less what I was planning to do.
yeah, yeah. Well, and you're kind of doing what I was trying to do. So we're both, and that's just because that's what the situation calls for.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, all right. The only thing I would do is to, um, so I'll move these infantry around a little bit. This guy can move here. This guy can move here. Oh, he's already in a town there. Okay, I thought that was
Mhm.
a yeah. So, do you have anything where the where where the units disappear and you can see what's underneath them?
Yeah, it's this button um, right towards the end. You see the chopsticks and the spyglass. That's the line of sight. The one
Yeah,
next to it is hide units.
hide the pieces. Okay, all right. Yeah, we're playing on a module on Sunday night for bar that does not have that, and we're like,
Wow.
yeah, we have to pick up the piece, move it, see what's underneath, what kind of terrain it's in, and then move it back. It's kind of like, oh my
Well,
gosh, these people who,
that's one of the brilliant things here. I really like this module when you hold over a unit. It shows you the unit, but it also shows you the hex underneath.
yeah, I
And
noticed that. That's kind of a nice feature.
yeah, I
So,
like that a lot because I need to be able to read those hex numbers when I'm doing play by email,
right.
and it's hard for me to see them unless I zoom way the heck in.
Yeah. So, um, Bagavoo doesn't necessarily need to hang out there.
I think I found that while I was watching you guys play
Yeah.
La Bataille de la Moscova. I think
Yes.
that's de la Moscova. Yeah, so I found that feature and I asked them to stick it in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head if it's got that. I know it's got the hide the units, but I don't know if it's got the one where it shows the terrain that's underneath it when you highlight it. But
Well, it was
that's a
some other
neat
game that I
feature.
was watching,
Yeah.
so I don't know if it was you or somebody else. But anyway,
All right.
it
Well,
was a found feature.
I got these beautiful hussars over here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they will be rotating as they go because why not? 6, 7, 8, and 9 gets them over there. Well, 9 gets them there. That gives them more possibilities. And these guys, I'm not crazy about where they're at, but I will see if I can't get them in a better spot or just get the commander in a better spot. Let's see.
You could almost move this guy and this guy further east and then use these guys to replace those two.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that in another turn. What I think I will do, though, is I will fade, whoops, I'll fade this guy back. Do I want to do that? Or
I don't think
fade him
technically you can.
sideways?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he's got to move towards his leader. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Um, all right. So then this guy will go 1. And as soon as he comes out, he's got to pay a movement point to change formation. Is that
Correct.
correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so he spent 2 movement points. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gets him over here. Okay. And then if I
Too
move
crowded. You go
Bagavoo.
home. That's not going to be good. You don't want to go there. Little tiny town. Too many soldiers.
All right, if I move Bagavoo there, then everybody's in command. And we can all say, woo. Okay, cool. Then that is it for Mr. Bagavoo, I think.
I think you're right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go drag one from the bag. Or you should drag it from the bag. It's
Yep,
your turn.
here, let me grab it. It's the Russians again.
Oh, no, that's a third in a row.
That is the 3rd in a row. I was really hoping. Well, I guess I will just continue to punish you. So, because at this point in time, let's see, Morand hasn't done anything yet. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I will do something with the left wing cavalry. So, where's our cube? There's our cube. And cavalry of the left wing will get their second activation in. And so, let's see what we can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets those guys over there. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll move these Cossacks over here because why not? Actually, we'll move these Cossacks here for why not? And then this guy's going to go 1, 2, 2, and he will be facing, whoops, that way. Oh, did I want to do that? No, I want to be there. That's where I want to be. Okay. Um, cool. And I'm going to see if I can get uh, these guys will 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, this Cossack's not going to go there. I'm going to park him over here instead. That way we are in our checkerboard. Checkerboards everywhere. Okay. I'm going to try 2 assaults. One would be here on that one, and the other is going to be on this one. So I have to see if these Cossacks will muster the courage to launch an attack. Here we go.
Go for it.
Oh, they do not. Oh, well. Not a surprise. Um, Jason Henke says, "Good morning, all. Just saying hello. Thanks for streaming this. The counters and module look fantastic." Thank you, Jason. I can take
Jason, thank you very much.
I take no credit for the counters or the module. Matt can take credit for the module at least.
Come on,
So, all right. Cool.
part of it.
Well, this
Part of it.
one we can definitely do. Oh, and let me see. I need to maybe move von Plauen. Let's check his command range. Right, so I think I'd have to move him there. Now everybody can do. Well, actually, it's only. So this guy was in the command range at the start, so he doesn't have to be in command range when he launches the attack.
No, he does not. He
Okay.
has to be in command range when he starts his move.
Okay. Cool. Well, that will work. Um, so we can do this attack then.
You've got to check the other Cossacks here.
Oh, they're not involved.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just watching. I don't care about them. They'll do whatever. So the other guys are going to go in. I've got once again 3-to-1 odds. So that's going to be a -3. You're being attacked for more than 1 hex, so that's a -2. Um, you're being attacked through a rear hex, so you're up to a
That's 2.
-6,
Well, look, that's already an automatic.
right? And then it's heavy cavalry. Oh, but I'm tired. So yeah, so you're at a -6, um, and so yeah, there's no way to wiggle out of that one.
No. No. All right. So we got to take a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have to. Oh, this is going to be nasty.
They're probably just going to cease to exist.
Oh, goes back to 5. Now I'm fresh again. Okay. So there actually is a graveyard in there. So I sent it to the graveyard. I don't know if that's in the version of the module that you've got, but yeah.
um, I don't see it. Where is it?
Okay. It would be on the right click menu. There's a graveyard in the 1.1 module. I'm using the
Oh,
1.1
okay.
module.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that one yet. Yeah, so
Sorry, I
that
should
was
have just.
something that came up because we had that other French unit got greased, and we put it on the army board.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
okay, cool. So then this guy can go ahead and advance, and oh, now he's conveniently in command again.
It's
Okay,
almost like that was planned.
almost. All right. So there you see, I charge twice for the same guys, and there's still, they're this sort of indestructible force depending on particularly those heavies against your cavalry. At this point, that whole light cavalry is just getting completely greased.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
yeah. All right. Well, we go back to the bucket. Let me take the moved markers off, and we can go ahead and
Oh,
uh,
blue.
pull. Yeah, that's convenient because
I need it.
you need it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it pretty clearly has to go to the second division. Am I right? No,
Well,
I can't see that.
so Friant, that would be his third activation.
No, I want to go to Moran. Sorry, I was
Yeah.
reading the numbers.
Yeah. So that's number one. So first division is Morand.
All right. So it's my first activation, so we're good. One,
Okay.
I'm going to form a square. Going to form a square. Going to form a square.
Okay. I see a pattern.
I'm going to flip and move one, two, three, going to flip and go one, two. Whoops, that should be a, yep, three and four.
The artillery can't go that far, right? Because they were,
Four, right? So
yeah, but
let me
they
turn on my
were,
movement show.
so
Count. One, two, three, four. They
they
flipped their
were, yeah, so they
formation
were
change.
unlimbered, right? So they could, at most they could go is two hexes. So they would end right there.
Yeah, so let me get the other guy lined up right. There we go. Very good.
Cool.
This guy. Turn that on. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, I'm gonna worry about that later. One, two, three, four. Three. Trying to stop. All right, and then Moran is moving there. And
Okay.
that's the end of my movement.
Exciting.
Now, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Okay. All right, we go back up to the bag of wonders and let's see
Nipple.
what we get. It's another
Woohoo!
French. So, big decisions. Who moves now?
All right. So let's take that and do a second activation on Morand.
Okay.
Okay. So now it's a -1 for infantry.
Correct.
That's all
And
I
artillery. Mm-hmm.
need. Okay, so going to form a square. I'm going to move this square. I'm going to move this square.
Okay.
I'm going to move this square. I'm going to add a square there, and I'm going to add a square here.
Square early, square often. Okay.
It's like voting.
Yep. Yep. In Chicago. All right.
And then that last guy. So Morand is going to stay where he is. And I'm going to change this out for a.
Oh, actually, last turn, um, this guy couldn't have moved because he's actually part of 2nd Division. So he should still be in this hex. That square there.
Yep. Okay, so hold on. So this square here has to move here, and this square here has to move here.
Yep.
And that would move it all up, but that's part of 2nd Division.
Yeah. So this,
Oh, I've got a mixed one, you
yeah.
stupid.
So you could have
Oh,
moved the lower unit in, but not
yeah,
the other one. So
right.
one
So I
could
need
move
to
forward,
move,
but not the other.
right. That's why you actually pay attention to that highlighting.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. So I'm going to clear my administrativa, and there are no assaults.
Well, you couldn't do any from a square anyway. So, okay,
Right.
cool. So we go back to the bucket. Let me grab something. Hey, it's one of those fire cube things.
Oh, good.
Very exciting. So, I've got a bunch of artillery that can take various and sundry shots at you, which I will proceed to do. So, let's get started. So many lovely targets. Um, well, first, why don't you take your shots with your squares? You've got this guy can fire on this guy can fire on that guy. So,
I actually have a lot. Hold on just a second here. So square rules changed. What did they change to? It's the 2 divided by 3, right? So it's
you take the strength points and you divide it by 3. So you basically, this guy would be on the 2 chart, right?
right.
And this guy would be on the 2 chart, right? Because you've got 5 divided by 3 is going to be 1 and a fraction, so it rounds
One
up to
fraction.
2, right? So if it were 4 or fewer, then it would be you'd be on the 1 chart.
Right. So it's a 2. I've got a
Yeah.
2 on this guy. So I'm going to start with on the
Yep.
Cossacks.
Yep.
Right. So I'm going to roll the dice. Oh, 11. That actually makes a difference. I'll actually figure out what that's worth.
On the 2 chart, that is a single hit.
Yeah, there's no modifiers on that. So yeah, good.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep.
Take that, Rusky.
Hey, that's okay. We don't care. We laugh. We laugh at you.
All right.
You little frog eating, snail eating,
Garlic eaters.
garlic eaters. Yeah, exactly. All right. That guy can take a shot too.
You do the same thing.
No.
It's a miss. I'm gonna put a smoke on this guy.
And you've got this guy here whose guns
Oh,
he can
I'll do
fire.
that.
Any
Yep.
other guns that are
Those.
unlimbered?
There is one other set.
Yeah, over here. Yeah. So,
Okay, so fire. So that's 2, and its range of 2. So that's times 2. So that's a 4.
yep, you're on the 4 chart.
So a 4. Okay, so here
Uh,
we go.
but you are in square, so then you're thirded. So you're on the 2 chart.
2 chart. 2 and 8, not enough.
Nope.
Okay, and then that one's fired. That one doesn't get one. Yep. So same thing here,
Okay.
except it's at 3. So that's also doubled. So that's 2. And I'm going to fire at.
But you can fire at least 2 targets that you can see. You could fire at that guy and at that guy.
Good. I'm going to do both. I'm going to
Yeah.
start here.
Okay, cool.
Nope.
Nope.
And then I'm going to go to the next one. Nope.
Nope. Okay. All right. I get to shoot back
That's
at you.
limbered. And then let's go over here. Got this guy.
Oh,
Is
we already did
firing with.
that one. Remember, that's the guy who took a
That's the
loss.
one that got it. Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. Oh,
So
sorry,
you've
sorry, sorry.
yeah,
Sorry.
you've got
Moving the wrong
you've fired
direction.
all of your guys. It's my
I
turn
thought it
to.
was an infinite loop. Never mind.
All right, Grim Harbinger is signing in. Hello, Grim Harbinger. Greetings. Okay, so then I'll get to shoot back at you. I've got these guys here. We'll take a shot right down the line at those guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, range of 4. I think I'm times 1, so I'm going to be on the 2 chart. But you are in square, so I have a plus
Where?
4. So let's go ahead and chuck some dice and see what we get. A 10
Oh,
is
you
going to
get
become
one.
a 14. So that's going to be 2 hits
Whoa.
on these guys here. And it's going to go on the infantry.
Yep.
All right. Then I've got these guys here. I'm wondering if I can get a shot there.
Yep.
Where's our
Right
line
down the
of
spines.
sight? Yep, yep, yep. I can do that. Okay.
No
So
doubt.
1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. We're on the 2 chart with a plus 4. A 7 plus 4, that's going to be 11. That's a single hit on those guys. All right. Then over here, what have I got? I've got these guns here, can fire over at those guys there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at a
That's
range of
times a half.
6, we're
Yep.
at half. So that's going to be 3. We're on the 3 chart with a plus 4. Yep. So here we are, 3 chart with a plus 4. That's going to be another 11. That's going to be a single hit on that stack. All right, these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can fire over here also. They're going to be on the 2 chart, but they're going to have a plus 5. So here we go. Let's see what we get. 6 plus 5 is 11. That's another hit. Just dinging away at those poor guys. All right. Now, these guys are up on a hill. Can I fire at
Oh,
somebody? Oh,
stop.
what
Oh, wait,
happened? Your guy moved.
if
That
I'm in
was...
the process of doing something and you click on something in Vassal, it moves my thing to where your click went.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Very
isn't that
interesting.
great?
That is. That's not usual. I haven't seen that in the other games that we've played because we're doing stuff
It'll happen.
with the... Okay. We've had a few
I moved
mysterious things happen, but
I moved the whole division of dreadnoughts that way.
all right. So I've
Very
got
disconcerting.
I've got this guy here who's on a rise. Can he fire here? 1, 2, 3. This guy's right equidistance between the two. What's our line of sight rule?
Line of sight says equidistant, you can fire.
If the target is on lower level, the line of sight is blocked if the blocking feature is closer to the target. Okay. So because we're equidistant, I can shoot over the top. Okay, well, that's what I'll do. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Apparently,
5,
you can't do
6.
this in La Bataille. I remember there was a knockdown drag out a couple weeks ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, and there's a difference, a subtle difference between Regs 30 and some of the other rule sets on the on the elevation. So
Yeah.
depending on which one you're using, there's these subtle differences, and you're just like, ah, what? And for me, I'm just like,
Play
I'm
the game.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so they're 8, but they're halved at this distance. So they're at 4. We're on the 4 chart. We've got a +5. So 4 with a +5. Let's see what we get. Survey says that's going to be 11. So that's going to be
That's
a hit on that hex there.
By the way, Grim Harbinger, I think you and I are up for a game. I'm excited.
Did you chat with him about and set up something?
I did.
Cool.
Well, I chatted with him about doing something. I don't think we figured out exactly what it is.
Okay. Well, that works.
I
All
got to
right.
call him today and work out some times.
That takes care of all of my excitement.
And
So,
mine.
yeah. All right.
So,
So we
another
can
poll.
then clear the smoke, I guess. Although I didn't
Yep.
put smoke on any of my people. I live a
Mm.
smoke free. I'm in California. It's a non
Oh
smoking
yeah,
state. I don't know. How are
we
things
got to have a
in
counter for
Oregon? Are you
vaping.
guys also a
Yep.
non smoking state? Yes.
Yep.
The left coast.
Unless it's pot. If it's pot, you're fine. Anything you want to do is great.
Oh, okay. So Grim
Or,
Harbinger says, yeah, the question is how to contact you.
I've got your phone number, Grim, and I will contact you that way.
Okay.
Probably right after this game.
There you go. That would be good. Yeah, Grim Harbinger, I think, is in the UK. So
And I think he's in Colorado
in
or Utah.
Colorado? No, no, no. I think Grim Harbinger, Grim, type in the chat where you're at, but I thought he was in the UK. So he's usually when he's
Well, I'm
tuning
got the
into our
wrong person.
stuff, it's late at night, but maybe not.
I will find out. I will
I'm
find out and
sure.
I'll contact them.
There you go. All right.
Okay,
So
so
that's that. So now we can grab another cube and see what we get.
here we go. I'll grab it.
Yep, yep.
Green.
Hey, it's the Russians. So at this point in time, let's see, I've moved the reserve cavalry twice. I've removed Bagavoo once. I haven't moved the reserve artillery at all. I don't really need to move the cavalry or Bagavoo, so I'm gonna shift the artillery a little bit so we can get some better shots at you. So this guy's going to prolong there. This guy's going to prolong there. This guy's going to go there. Can you prolong and change facing? What's the rule on that? Or do I just change facing?
The rule is one hex. It doesn't say anything about facing. I would assume you could change it.
Okay, cool. Then I will just shift these guys slightly so they can actually target something over there. Cool.
If you're prolonging, you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound.
In for a penny, in for a pound. I'm definitely excited about pennies and pounds. Let's see, and the French have only got 1 cube left. The Russians, I think, have only got 1 cube left. Yep. So we're nearly at the end. Okay. Cool, cool. All right, you grab that one. I will
Okay.
clear the moved markers. Let me grab the next one and see what we get. It's a French, so the French get to do their final excitement, whatever it is they're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah, Grim Harbinger says that he is in the UK.
Grim, I'm sorry I got you confused, but I'm going to contact you anyway. I'm going to find you through BGG, and
There
I'm going to
you,
message you, and we'll get something set up
there you
because I
go.
need more players.
Yeah. Are you guys going to play this?
I don't know. I like this, but I'm also been playing a little bit of Flying Colors, and I'm enjoying that
Oh,
too.
okay. So the other thing is, Grim, are you on the Discord server for Labatai? If so, you might be able, you guys could message each other through Discord.
Yeah, or we can just talk after this is over.
Yeah.
So
So Grim, if you're on Discord, put your Discord thing. If you need an invitation to the Labatai Discord server, I can put it in the chat. So, all right. Oh, he's not. Okay. Give me a second and let me get you an invite to. All right. I'm going to put the invite to the Discord server. Oh, that didn't do me any good.
thank you.
Yeah, let's see. Give me a second. So we go here. We go here. Invite people. Uh, or send a. So copy. So I have copied the thing. Okay. Huh. Why is it not copying the invite? It's very strange. Edit invite link. Hidden. Use copy button. Generate a new link. Huh. For whatever reason, it is not copying the invite. Very strange. Okay. Well,
I'll
so
just
much for
invite you
that.
to mine, or I'll do a
Yeah.
Google Meets or something. So I'll
Yeah.
contact you after this game.
All right. It looks like you are trying to move somebody named Morand. Is
Yes,
that
this
who
gentleman
you've
is going to
selected?
move.
Okay. So that's his second or third activation.
Third activation.
So infantry and artillery are two less. Okay. All right.
They're all squares, so
Cool. It's the big shuffle.
okay. So now it's defensive fire if you're going to respond.
No, I mean,
Nope.
I don't have defensive fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's a different rule set. So
Yeah. So there we go.
yeah. So I guess
That's the move.
yeah, cool. All right. So now we go back up to the bucket and see what we get. And let's grab, it's the Russians. Let's see what the Russians are going to do. So, boop, 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 boop. I will go ahead and, who can I activate? I will activate the left-wing cavalry, I think. They need to do something exciting here. It's their second activation. So cavalry are moving 2 less. So, um, all right, what can we do? Things are looking pretty good over on that side of the map. This guy's going to move here and change facing so he can do something unpleasant to your cavalry. This
What
guy,
cavalry? They're
exactly.
gone. There's nothing left.
I know, isn't that exciting? All right. This guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 gets him up there. Do, 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 do. And we'll have this guy move. Yeah, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 gets him up there. And this guy's going to go 1, 2. He'll be, where will he be? He will be here. Yeah. Okay. And then as far as stuff going on this other side of the map. No, that's all good. I think we're fine. So, cool. That was my big excitement. All right, now we are over to the last cube, and that should be the fire cube. Yep. So now we
Okay,
get to do shooting.
go for
Oh,
it.
actually, wait, I needed to do my attack. The cuirassiers are attacking these poor sods.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So we are on super odds of 4 to 1. So we
Eight
got
to
a
one,
-4.
-2
Um,
for heavy cavalry.
yep, so we're at -6, but I am tired, so it's only a -4. Only a -4. There's a chance you may survive. No, not really. All right, they're toast.
No, they're not.
Yep,
Bye bye.
yep.
So
So they're
you
still
got to
showing. They're
occupy the
still
space.
showing on my map.
They are.
They
That's
are.
bad.
Yeah, they did not go to the thing.
The
They're still
graveyard.
there. Yeah,
I'm going to choose delete. How interesting. Oh, I know, because you don't have a send to graveyard feature. Duh.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So it doesn't go to the graveyard.
So there we go. We advanced. Excitement.
Good.
All
Good.
right. Cool. Now
Okay.
it is.
Lots
Now
of
it's
square fire.
Fireface. Lots of square fire. Okay. So go
All
ahead,
right.
knock yourself out. So where do you want to start? Let's
I'd
start
like
out
to
here.
start right here. I'd like to start by knocking myself out. Okay.
Okay.
No.
So I will. This guy will fall back 1, and
Okay.
oh well, no excitement there.
This guy is going to
Yep.
fire.
Go ahead. You're on the 2 chart.
Nothing.
Nope. Big whiff. Okay. Who did you just flash?
I just checked this guy to see what was in there. That's not
Oh,
what I'm shooting.
oh, for whatever
And he's
reason,
not my division
I
either.
shoot.
So
Yeah,
it's well, that doesn't matter
doesn't
division, it's a
matter.
fire.
Yeah,
This guy here though has an artillery piece.
he does.
So yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think that's standard. I'm not sure. Let me
It's
check.
at a distance of 4. It is times 1.
W-
So you're on the
Times one.
2 chart
And
against
I'm
those
firing at this
lancers.
guy.
Yep.
Right. But he's in a square, so he has to take a third of that. So it's like a 1.
Yeah. Yep. So you're on the 1.
But he's a 1 on this guy too,
Correct.
because he gets to divide by 3.
Yep.
So there's a 1. So I need an 11 or 12. So I missed
Yep.
on the lancers, and then I'm going to shoot the hussars, and I missed the
Yep.
hussars. And then this guy here, come on, come on, come on, has nothing unlimbered. And then over here, that's the other division, second division, and this is first division. So there's nothing more to shoot. Oh no, it's not
No,
division. Duh, I
you've
said
got
that
guys
twice.
back here.
Yeah, I got these guys here too. So I'm going to fire 2 at range 2 is 4. So that goes to 2
I'm sorry. What are you talking
on
about?
these guys. This
Oh, yeah,
artillery
yeah, yeah,
piece
yeah, yeah.
firing this one.
Yep.
So that's a 2.
And that is I
A
think it's a
whiff.
miss. Yeah.
It's a miss. And then this guy here is firing there. So it's 2 points. And then this guy is firing 2 points at the cuirassiers.
Yep.
And he's almost there, but not quite.
Almost, but not quite.
So all my stuff is fired.
Okay, cool. All right, time for me to shoot back at you. So let's start with my guns that are over here by the little town. And we've got these chaps can fire there. They're a range of 1, 2, 3. At a range of 3, we are
That's
times
double.
2. So we're going to be on the 4 chart with a +4. So let's see what we get. A 7 on the 4 chart, I believe, is a miss. Yep. Okay, and then the guys next to them are going to take a shot as well. Same thing. And that's going to be a 9 on the 4 chart.
That's a
And that
1, I
is a
think.
single hit. All right, then we've got more bowling. So let's go ahead and do some more shooting. So the guys that are up here on the hill are going to fire down here, right? Or maybe not. No, they can't because that's out of their arc. So they're going to fire there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they are halved. So that's
4.
going to be 4. Okay, so 4 to with a +5. Here we go. That's going to be a
Oh,
13.
that's 2, isn't it?
On the 4 table, that's 2 and a morale check or a stand check.
8. I got to check the stand check. I
Oh,
think I
they're
make that.
fine. Yeah, you because
It's
I
under
think
6.
yeah you're trying to the stand you're going to fail if it's a 5 or less, and being in square gives you a +2. But
Oh,
being within 3
you
hexes
have the cavalry.
of enemy cavalry um, is a -2. So
Yeah,
that
so that evens that out.
evens it out. Although for whatever reason, I don't know why. I mean, it says being within 3 of enemy cavalry when in non-obscured terrain. But if you're in square, you shouldn't care about the cavalry because you're already in square, right? I can understand, but okay. C'est la vie. All right, I've
Well, the
got
stand check isn't just for squares. right?
Yes,
So
it's for
if I were adjacent to a unit that retreated, that would be an important
yeah,
malice.
yeah. All right, I've got this guy here is going to fire at that guy there. So he's going to be on the 2 chart with a +5, and that's going to be another 13. But on the 2 chart, it's not quite as brutal. It is a single hit
This guy.
on this one right here. Yeah.
Oh, now that's a problem
Why is that?
because I come out of
Oh, yeah,
square,
you're not in square anymore.
right?
Well, on the bright side, it means you can't be punished as much anymore. That plus
Yeah,
4 is
yeah.
super nice. All right, I've got these guns here that can fire on those guys over there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's the
But those
range
are
of
horse
my
guns.
horse
Those
guns?
are horse guns, and the range
6,
is
so
6.
they can't do anything.
Yep.
Let's see, what about these guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same difference. Okay. So, yeah, you've managed to stay away from my guns. How convenient of you. Okay, cool. So that takes care of all the firing then.
So that was the last cube.
Yep, yep. We have
And
managed
we're at
to.
the time where we should think about wrapping up anyway.
Yeah, yep,
So before you go anywhere, um, Grim, um, I'm gonna put my email in the in the log here. Give me an email and I'll call you back, or I'll work getting hold of you. And I've got Skype and I've got Discord, so I would like to make contact with you. So clearing the moved, clearing the fatigued, clearing the smoke, clearing the highlights, and clearing the bag. So now the bag is ready to go back next time we play. I'm going to move the turn marker. You already did.
yep,
So we're going to save it, and you should save it.
yep. And then we need to figure out whether we want to do this one again or go on to a new scenario.
I want to go on to a new scenario. I've learned some things, and this whole square movement thing is new for me. So I'm happy. I've gotten a lot of learning out of this scenario.
Yes, yes, I think so. Um, and I just kind of given the scenario stuff and the fact that you put everyone in square, just like, okay, well, there's no point in me charging. But then again, there's no point in me doing anything at all because you can't go anywhere with the
I
square.
can creep
And
along at one
yeah,
hex a turn,
one hex a
or one
turn.
hex of an
Yeah,
activation.
yeah. And so I can either stay there next to you or, you know, um, and or I can pull back whenever there is the uh, the fire cube thing. So, but when you're firing out in a square, your fire factor isn't anything to write home about. I
No,
think
but you got 3 shots with an artillery piece. That might have been a flaw in the logic there, because now instead of having 1 2 point artillery, I've got 3 1 point artilleries.
yes, yeah. So I suppose if you do get up, get the guys in in square, and then you can prolong at 1 hex, and your square can prolong 1 hex. But
Yep.
even then, it's what's the best you can do
It feels
at
like a
two
peace
hexes?
protest at that point.
Yeah, basically 4 divided by 3 is going to be 1. So you're on the 1 chart. So you basically have to roll boxcars to get a hit.
But with the movement, which is great. And then there's 2 points from the infantry.
No,
If
no,
you
no. But yeah, if I stick
right,
around, well, if I stay adjacent to you, then you'd have 8 divided by 3. Then you'd have 2 for the artillery, and then
right.
you'd have 2 for the infantry. So that would be I would pull back in the face of that, right?
Yeah, I think that what can happen though is just like I say, if you got 3 activations for a unit, here's my first activation. Okay, are you and then there's no fire, so we wait a little bit.
Yeah,
And then the next time you're gonna move, then I'm gonna go one more and so on. So I can inch across
yeah,
the battlefield.
right. But you know that the problem with that is you're inching across the battlefield, and the scenario ends at 1 o'clock.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I got, as you said earlier, I got places to be.
yeah. And so that is I think with this particular one, um, having 7 cubes for the French is going to would make the difference because
Probably
you
because
would
you'd
be
be able to
able
move the
to,
other division.
yep, you'd be able to move the other divisions up. I mean, this
Yeah.
turn Gudin didn't move at all. He's only gotten one activation since came on as a reinforcement.
Yep.
Yeah, and so with the cavalry screen I have here, there's I don't see you getting through that um, without suffering. You're going to have to come out a square to try to push my cavalry out of the way. Um, and then I will either stand and fight or I will reaction charge you. And then you got to deal with whatever the potential issues are with that. So yeah, no, it's I don't see the French winning this one unless the Russians fight and to defend Sir Fallen, and and uh, and if they do that, then the French can bring everything up because they're everything's within one activation from the map edge practically. But there's no
Yeah.
point in the Russians doing that. Or you
Good
have
learning
something,
game.
yeah, or you have something where that
Bad
left
scenario.
wing battery, or you have some sort of fatigue cubes. So now you have to defend the left wing battery.
Yeah.
And so then now you can't fall back. You've got to stick around and defend the battery. Um, so
Well,
that would be the other way of looking at it, maybe.
if you're doing victory points, well, not victory points, but fatigue points, if I got that left wing artillery reserve, even at really high loss, that makes up for that whole um, Melonkheim town, right? I know that I can take Sarpalin. If I kill all the artillery and then I take Southgarden, or even partially, if we're going by victory points, I'd be winning.
Right. But is that how
No,
that Raphael or Roberto has done it?
Renato.
Renato.
Renato has I don't know how he's set up the victory points. I think the victory points are still the same, meaning that you have to control 2 of the 3 towns.
Right.
But in practical terms, you could get a whole lot of fatigue points.
Yeah,
And
you could basically stifle the Russians' ability to do anything, depending
pretty
on
much.
how many fatigue points they start off with. So the Russians are on uh, I think that reserve artillery is on defend, which costs 0 fatigue points. Um, I suppose you could have once you get Bagavoo where he needs to be, you could put him on defend as well. Um, I mean, at this point, that might not be a bad one for me to have done in the 1 o'clock turn, because then the guys that are in Sir Fallen, the guys that are here, are going to get that +2 bonus on any attack that happens, um, and everybody else is in a position where okay, I can reaction charge you if you do anything here. Um, and then I just leave the left wing cavalry on attack, um, and and so from a point of view of managing fatigue points, that would be what you would just leave the left wing cavalry on attack, and then you could put the other guys on defense to try to
Well, we should
preserve
try
your
this.
stuff.
I'm looking at Renato's file right now, and he's got two red fire cubes, French's first player, seven ACs
All right, so
for
he's got the
both players.
7, yeah. Okay, so
He does,
7, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he uploaded this 10 days ago. So the victory conditions is still the same. So it's the end of the who controls the most of the three towns.
Right.
And then but you switch AFPs, and then the for army fatigue points he's got beginner, normal, challenging, and expert. So if you're normal, he gives French 28, and Russian, they're the same all the way through.
Right,
For normal it's 28 AFPs, for challenging it's 25 AFPs, and for expert it's 21 AFPs. So if we were playing normal 28 AFPs, we've got three divisions each. Maybe I've got a little bit more. Each of those is going to take two, so it's 12. That really is going to wipe you out because you're not going to be able to move all four of them every turn. That's going to be interesting. And you can add a 1d6 for weather. Okay. And if it's
well, and the Russians, if
yeah.
they win, they lose their fallen, they're going to lose 5 army fatigue points, right? And those will go over to
Yeah.
the French. So now suddenly there's a reason maybe to hold on to Sir Fallen longer, um, or pull back like you do, but realize that that's going to be then a bonus for the French. So maybe hang out longer or fight longer. Um, Not sure. But then your orders become more. It becomes a different situation. Yeah, but having trust me, as the French, I would have loved to have had 7 activation cubes, because then you can really accomplish something with that you can't do with 5.
You would, yeah, you're right. That would make a difference. You would get a kick out of this. It's on the Board Game Geek in the files section,
Okay,
um, and he's got different files for each of them, except for Davout's attack comes with the Battle for Night Quarters, and the Battle for Night Quarters and Davout's attack come in one file.
right. And I think when we played the Battle for Night Quarters, we did have fatigue cubes, didn't we? Because I thought we
I
were
think we
we
did.
were chipping away of them as we lost units, and we did our orders. So I think we
I
were
think we did.
playing with that for that one.
Yep.
Um,
Renato's done a polish on this too.
yeah.
He's not Italian, by the way. He's British.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But he's Italian descent. But I keep thinking of him, in a little apartment, with garlic and spaghetti
And a
sitting
nice
there on the
nice
spot.
bottle of Chianti on his desk there.
All right, some fava beans. Yeah, no, I
Exactly.
think yeah, but I think it's pretty worth following it through. So if you want to play a different scenario, I would like to put forward Murat's cavalry attack.
Okay. Are we going to try to use, does Renato have a version of that, or are we just going to use
If he does,
whatever?
we should use it. If he
Okay.
does, we should use it.
Yeah, I think that would be worth investigating. All right, I've got to pack up and go. I've got to go teach a bunch of people how to fence. So
Well,
this was
go
fun.
and remember those candlesticks are almost always going to be brass,
Is that it? Even
not
the
gold.
ones
I
that you
mean, that's
steal
the
from the
secret to
bishop's
fencing.
house?
That's why, my son, you have it exactly. Here, take the
Exactly.
other.
I'm glad somebody gets that reference there. Not too many people have read Les Miserables. So,
I haven't read it, but I've seen like 7 different versions of it over
oh, okay.
decades.
Okay. All right. Well, no
Um,
worries. Well, Matt, this was a hoot. Hopefully, we'll see your virtual smiling face next week. And
yeah,
let's do Marat's Charge. Who do you want to play? Do you want to play the Russians or the French?
don't care either way. I'm happy. Roll a dice, pick my favorite. I don't care.
Okay. That sounds like a deal.
Do you
All
have 2
right.
seconds to talk in the
Yep, sure. I'll
after the
sign off.
live stream?
All right. Farewell, everybody. We're going to turn off the live stream. We'll catch you next time. All right. Live stream is over.